Found out my husband was in love with his friend, so I made her my best friend and now he has no one. Plus update. This happened a while back and names are changed for privacy purposes. All ages are at the time it happened. My female 27 husband, male 30, of 5 years, Steve, had a female best friend long before we met. We'll call her Amy. I met Amy pretty early on in the relationship and thought the girl best friend thing was kind of weird, but she seemed cool. I wasn't interested in a friendship between her and I, but I figured we could be civil. Steve had other friends, but more text every now and then friends. Amy was the only one he saw in person often. She even included me on activities occasionally. Movie nights at her house or trips to the park, etc. I felt more secure because of how kind she was. The security washed down the drain every time it sprung up though. Steve always looked at Amy in a way he never looked at me. He seemed so genuinely happy when she talked, more animated and excited, etc. He also tried to get me to cut my hair to be more like hers at one point and dye it a natural color. Amy had shoulder-length brown hair, beautiful on her but not the look for me. I had longish hair that I frequently dyed fun colors. He would also drop plans with me at the drop of the hat if the opportunity to spend time with Amy came up. Not every time, but one that stands out from memory is when we were about to take a trip to visit my family. A full-day trip if we don't stop anywhere on the way. And before we left, he texted Amy to see what she was doing that day. She said nothing, and he insisted we stop by to see her before we go. Amy did not know our plans. We ended up spending the whole day there, so I rescheduled my family visit. If I had been more vocal at the time, maybe it would have been different. But I didn't, and still don't, like arguing in front of people. And bringing it up in front of Amy felt mortifying at the time. I chalked it up to me being too self-conscious and over-worrying. Steve wasn't outright cruel to me or anything, but the little things and comments tore me down. This went on for our whole marriage. One night, Steve and I were drinking at home and watching bad Christmas movies, The Ginger Dead Man and such. I got in my feelings out of nowhere, as I often do when drunk, and asked him if he ever had feelings for Amy. He admitted to it, said he tried to get her to be with him multiple times since middle school and she always rejected him. I asked that if she wanted to be together, if he would want to be with her instead of me. He said something along the lines of, "Stop making up hypothetical questions like that. That'll just hurt your feelings." I cried. We fought. I told him to leave and he called Amy and asked her to pick him up. When she got there, I, drunk as a skunk, went outside and in a not friendly way accused her of ruining my marriage knowingly. There was a three-way heated argument that I'm fuzzy on details of because A, I was drunk, B, even if sober, when I'm in a heated argument I tend to erase things, and C, this didn't exactly happen yesterday. At the end of it, Amy ended up taking Steve to his mom's house. She came back to me sitting in the yard crying. This is already too long, so I'll skip ahead a bit. Amy knew vaguely that Steve had feelings for her but thought it was a weird crush that would go away. She liked me, but thought I was cold so didn't try to force a friendship. She didn't know a lot of the stuff Steve had said to me as far as comparing me to her, and was angry about it when she learned. She let him know that she wasn't and never would be interested in him romantically. He said he understood. Steve and I then did a temporary separation that led to divorce. Amy and I became friends. She was and is a great friend to me, almost worth everything Steve put me through. She's the sister I never had. She is still friends with Steve, but in the text every now and then way. I'm more self-confident now. No real long-term relationship since the divorce, but now I'm invited to every movie night, and trivia game and camping trip with Amy, so I'm not at all bothered by the lack of romantic partner. Sorry this was long. A little rushed at the end because I realized it was getting book length. Thanks for reading if you did. If you're married to a Steve, there are better things out there for you, darling. Now for the top comments before the mini update. Honestly don't understand why people marry someone else when they're in love with not the person they're marrying. Boggles my freaking brain. Glad you got out, OP. Would have been heartbreaking at a time, but you got the better outcome with a trusty friend. Fear of being alone and having a placeholder. This was uplifting, surprisingly. So you don't feel bad for Steve then? I kind of feel sorry for him, but not in a way that thinks you should regret anything because it all happened very naturally. I just feel you can't help how you feel, but he was bad at hiding it, if he even tried. To put it the best way I can, the reason I don't feel bad for Steve is because I realized he did this to himself. I loved him. He didn't love me. I left. I'm happier now. Worked on myself and didn't stay miserable. He loved Amy. Amy didn't love him. He clung around and made not only himself miserable, but also me for a while. Did he say he didn't love you? Or did you just interpret his, according to your own story, actual answer of, I've always had feelings for her and I'd want to be with her if we weren't together, as him not caring about you? I think a lot of people fool themselves into thinking they are the only one for their partner, and then make rash decisions when they find out that they've fallen in love before. Everyone settles, and statistically, it's highly probable you'd be someone's first and only choice. But congratulations on letting jealousy of a friendship that has existed for longer than your entire knowledge of this guy's existence mess up a marriage that, judging by your lack of complaints of the contrary, seemed perfectly fine. Oh, and Amy is a horrible friend. I'm laughing at the y'all should be together comments because you kinda do deserve each other. I understand what you mean, and maybe I wasn't super clear. And maybe if I was, you would still have the same opinion. I'm not upset that he had feelings for Amy. Someone else commented, and I agree I can't control who you have feelings for. But I feel the way everything went down. Marrying me without ever telling me he had feelings. Constantly putting me as wife on the back burner. Making me feel like a second-place trophy even before I knew about his feelings for her. Trying to get me to change my looks to be more like her, etc. was not how I deserved to be treated and was scummy looking back. If it was me today, I would never let any of that happen, let alone how long I let it happen. And if Amy had chosen to remain as close to him, I don't know if we would be as close. I want to say yes because of how we are now, but right in the middle of everything, I probably would have just called it a wash and not talked to her. If tomorrow she decides she wants to be close with him again, I wouldn't try to stop her. I wouldn't be around him, even if that makes me seem like a bitter child. It would have to be separate visits at separate times, etc. But I wouldn't want to lose her over it. Did I forget something and write this myself? Lol. I totally had an Amy in my life who was my best friend. Description of us matches perfectly. The hairdo, and I even cut mine to be like her. Unfortunately, my Steve ran away with her after having an affair for like most of our 7-year relationship. LMAO. She turned out to be a massive jerk to me near the end. Neither of them have friends because of what they did. Maybe like 2, but they're also crappy people. I found the gaslighting and the "there's nothing going on between us. Why would you think that? Why would you ask something that'll hurt you?" type answers the freaking worst. I legit thought I was making the whole thing up, and delusional to the point I had schizophrenia as it runs in the family. His friends even got in on it and had his back. Glad I dodged that one. Glad it worked out with you and your Amy. And now for the update. Before the main update, I would like to say thank you to all the supportive comments. And also, I am sorry to anyone with a Steve in their lives, and proud of the others who got rid of them. On to the main update. Steve found this post. Amy sent me screenshots. Not sure how to post them. Someone made a TikTok video and he saw it. Not super eventful, but something new on the old story. I considered deleting it to avoid the drama, but I decided instead to include everyone on the news if they'd like it. I may still delete it if it becomes too much. I just don't want to give him the power over me deleting it. I'm a little frazzled, honestly. Next story. I caught my husband with his best friend, but I won't tell them I know. Original post. My husband, male 28, is wealthy and is providing me, female 30, a great life while I'm studying. I would never have afforded it otherwise. As a matter of fact, I was a barista before I met him and didn't even dare dreaming about starting college. Now I'm in engineering school. He pays for everything. We have a great house. I don't need to do anything but study and have fun. His best friend, female 27 from college, separated from her common-law husband after he cheated on her. She had no place to go, and we have a guest house. I never had anything to worry about with them because they have known each other for ages. I always thought if they wanted, it would have happened already. I was mistaken. I started having a hunch because of nothing in particular, just felt that they changed with each other. So I snuck on them after pretending to go to my mom's. Nobody knows that I know. But I couldn't let him touch me for 2 months, blaming it on the stress from school starting. Now we do get intimate because I don't want him to suspect me or get tired of me. I cried the first time he touched me after I found out. I wanted to vomit, but I blamed it on stress. Now I just let him. I try to think about other things and try to convince myself that it's just physical. I fake it sometimes when he notices me being absent-minded and starts saying, "Baby, come back to me." I'm in a race with time to finish school before he throws me aside for her. I also had IUD in without telling him. Nobody knows, not even my closest friends. Everyone thinks I'm the luckiest woman on earth, so loved and cherished by an amazing, successful husband. Nobody knows that I cry myself to sleep every night. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Wow, I'm so sorry. Thank you. It feels good to tell someone. So do you have an exit plan? Finish school and move to another city. Please be putting money aside as well. You need a nest egg to begin your new life. Other than that, so sorry this happened to you and best wishes for a fabulous new life. So, this woman leaves her husband because he cheated and then turns around and is your husband's mistress? What? I'm so sorry. Send all the positivity your way that I can. I kind of wonder if the mistress's ex actually cheated or if they divorced because of something she did, and she's just saying that to make herself look better. Like maybe the ex caught her cheating by walking in on her or something but doesn't have proof and he decided to divorce her. But maybe then she decided to get a word out first that it was the other way around and that he was the one who cheated, so that no one would believe him when he truthfully said that she cheated on him. That would explain why she's comfortable being someone's mistress now, despite supposedly having been cheated on. Who knows though? For the sake of your education, stay. Try to be strong during those 3 years. Once you can stand on your own feet, leave this man. And don't feel guilty about taking advantage of his money. He's literally cheated on you and still calls you baby, for God's sake. You deserve to get this degree and leave his unfaithful butt. Yes, he still calls me baby. Tells me love you every morning when I go to college and he to work. Text me I miss you from his morning meeting. Calls during lunch and text what I want for dinner before coming home. Like nothing has changed. I can't believe how he can be so two-faced. Is she still in a guest house? Yes, I don't think she's going to leave anytime soon, but she's talking about getting back with her husband if he proposed. 3 years is a long time. I can understand why you're holding out, but your description of your intimate life made me so uncomfortable. I wish you strength, OP. Please remember that nothing is worth your mental health or your sanity. Take stock every few months, reevaluate where you are, and reconsider your options. It may be worth talking to a divorce lawyer so you can weigh up your options. You may be eligible for alimony and might not need to stay with them to continue your education. Are there any grants or scholarships you're entitled to? Please look into other options too. Yeah, I would not underestimate at all what this could do to someone's mental health. This is the sort of thing that can leave long-lasting trauma effects on your nervous system. And that sort of stuff can then take a long time to heal from. And now for the update. Hi everyone. I'm overwhelmed by the people who reached out to me and thank you for all the advice. I might have done something very petty last Tuesday, and I still don't know how to feel about what I did. And what good it did. Actually, no good at all. But I think the comments here triggered something inside me that told me to stop hiding. I will have to wait and see if I blew up my future. God, I hope I didn't. As I said before, maybe not in the post, but in the comments that my husband's friend was trying to reconcile with her husband. She invited him for dinner in her guest house, and after dinner, they asked if they could join us for wine, and my husband was happy to invite them. They stayed for about 2 hours, and I had a lot to drink and wasn't talking a lot. When they came to the subject of reconciliation, I don't know what came over me, but I just mumbled, "Good, I'm happy you two are getting back together so she stops betting my husband." It didn't go well afterwards. My husband looked at me in shock, and I asked him if he thought I didn't know. I've known for months. The friend's husband kept asking, "Is this true? Are you serious? I can't believe you." My husband started crying and a friend started shouting, "You witch," and apologizing to her husband. When her husband left in anger, she rounded on me to yell some more. I told my husband that I was going to bed, and when I wake up tomorrow, I want her to be gone or I'm gone, and left them in the kitchen. I heard them yelling. Yesterday, she was gone. My husband wanted to talk and explained that it was nothing. He never meant to hurt me. He was so stupid not connecting the dots when my mental health was deteriorating. She meant nothing and he regrets it. He told me that he wanted to make it up to me and start couples therapy because we love each other, and we can overcome this with some help. So now he thinks we are going to work on our marriage. I don't know when he's gonna call my bluff, or what happens when his friend is officially single, as I heard that her husband has asked for separation of assets. I hope I didn't ruin everything because of one drunken mistake. You didn't ruin anything? They both ruined your marriage and hers. It's great he wants couples counseling, but you have a right to deny it. I wish you the best of luck. We'll see how much I've ruined. He has moved out to the guest house now because I told him I needed space. I can't control my emotions anymore. They ruined her marriage as well as yours for being a bunch of selfish idiots. It's amazing how you can blame yourself, and the fact that you do, and worry about the damage you may have caused for telling the truth about what they were doing behind your back, tells me you're a good person who probably doesn't stand up for herself enough. Huh, that was awesome. I hate when cheaters say it meant nothing, when that nothing was worth risking their entire marriage and shattering their spouse's heart. Him and his regrets can kick rocks. I think it hurts more when it means nothing. If my husband is going to destroy our relationship, I want it to be for his true love. I think it would be a little easier to accept and move on. I totally disagree with this, and I'm astonished that this is the general consensus here. Why? You really think I would feel better if it means something? Sorry, honey, I cheated on you, but it meant nothing. Sorry, honey, I cheated on you, but it meant so much to me. Yeah, no. I think what they were trying to say is that it's like him saying he broke your heart and betrayed you for no reason. Because it didn't mean anything or it meant nothing, he destroyed your relationship literally over nothing. Which is another way of saying he cared about a relationship less than nothing. Because at least if it was for a good reason like love, that would mean he at least cared about your guys' relationship and had a reason, no matter how crappy the reason is. But to do it for no reason? It's just cruel. Like you tossed away all those years over nothing. Am I the a-hole for confronting someone I bullied about their passive-aggressive post about me when I have tried to make amends? I, 29 female, was a bully in high school. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not going to downplay or try to justify it or anything. But I grew up, learned from my mistakes, and didn't repeat them. One of my targets was Ruby, 28 female. We ran in the same circle until high school when I made friends with some people in a different group. You could say they were the popular kids. Ruby, being so obviously on the spectrum, made her easy to torment. We also took advantage of how badly she wanted to be popular. Towards the end of high school, she started to stand up for herself more. In college, I grew up and figured I would try to extend an olive branch. I started off by sending friend requests on social media, which were denied. I did, however, notice that she accepted my follow request on Instagram but didn't follow me back. I mention this because she regularly shares autism awareness and anti-bullying content. I got the message and left her alone. I wasn't going to waste her or my time with an apology that wouldn't be accepted anyway. Several years ago, our old group had a reunion and tried to talk to her there, but was met with short and curt replies and death stares. Later, I saw she posted pictures specifically without me in them, and if I was in them, I was cropped out. I messaged the group chats we made to coordinate this meetup. Wow, real mature Ruby, which wasn't acknowledged. Recently, Ruby was in our hometown. She posted pictures with people we went to school with, which had passive-aggressive captions about how they overcame bullying together and stayed together. At one point, she even posted a story with a caption, "Screw you, OP. You will never stop me from living my best life." Again, I haven't interacted with her in many years by this point, or tormented anyone at all. The kicker though, she posted pictures with a couple of the guys from my old group with a caption about how nice it is when people grow and change. I about had it at this point. I DM'd her about how she clearly forgives male bullies who said worse things than I ever did, but always snubs me when I have genuine remorse and didn't want to sleep with her. I also let her know that some people in the group still made fun of her when reminiscing, but she won't forgive the person who doesn't partake. Once again, no direct communication. Just another passive-aggressive post with a screenshot of the message and a caption about how I clearly haven't changed, and airing out all the trauma I inflicted on her. Then other people from high school began to comment on that post about their own experiences with me. Some even started to DM me and call me out on behavior from over a decade ago, when I haven't repeated. Am I really an a-hole for calling out hypocrisy like I see it? Like, yeah, she can choose who she forgives, but I can honestly say that others in the group treated Ruby much worse than I ever did. I actually am sorry, and this is the one time I expressed any annoyance at this whole situation. Now for the top comments. I didn't even read anywhere you gave a legit apology. You're the a-hole. Exactly. Opie never said sorry. She sent a friend request which was denied. You can send people messages without being their friend. It just lands in the other folder, or she could ask a mutual friend to forward her the written apology. She had options to message and apologize, and she didn't take it. Opie, you never owned up to your mistakes. You are the a-hole, and still a bully. And then gave up because it was never accepted. She couldn't even put in the effort for her non-apology for tormenting the woman. And that assumes all anti-bullying messages are passive-aggressive towards her. Maybe Ruby is just an activist, or has kids or younger relatives who might be harassed for the same condition she has. But of course, Opie's passive-aggressive remark of, wow, real mature, is totally fine and dandy. Opie should just leave her alone. You're the a-hole. You tormented this girl and you admit it. She's made it clear she wants nothing to do with you. Grow up and leave her alone. Opie didn't apologize. As far as Ruby knew at first, Opie was trying to pretend they were good and nothing happened. Ruby tried to make her point over and over, that being treated like that hurt and had an impact, and from Ruby's point of view that Opie was ignoring. Then Ruby made a point that she's not acknowledging Opie, to which Opie told her, real mature. Opie never apologized, and each interaction behaved worse and worse. And as far as Ruby knows and can see, Opie has continued her old habits and intimidation tactics. She sent friend requests on social media. That is totally an apology. Jeez, what more do you want? Opie bullied this poor girl in high school and has decided the way to make amends is to harass her? She posted pictures with a couple of the guys from my old group with a caption about how nice it is when people grow and change. Maybe they actually did genuinely apologize and change, unlike Opie. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my cousin and his wife it serves them right that their daughter wants nothing to do with them? My cousin Mark and his wife Patricia have 2 children, Jennifer and Lexi. School was very difficult for Jennifer. She had many problems with boys, and a traditional school environment just didn't accommodate her learning style. Lexi performed very well in that environment. Lexi was able to skip a grade in elementary school and was considered a violin prodigy. Instead of trying to help Jennifer with her learning struggles or encourage Jennifer's talents, Mark and Patricia would negatively compare her to Lexi. Things like, Lexi has twice as many friends as you, and she's 4 years younger. Or, Lexi skipped a grade and has all A's, yet you're only getting a C in English. Or, Lexi can do things that are actually useful. Mark and Patricia would talk about raising Jennifer and Lexi by saying, the screw-up always comes before you do something great. I would stand up for Jennifer, because Mark and Patricia were clearly hurting her with such incredibly cruel statements. Mark and Patricia would only respond that we were both being oversensitive, and how their comments were good because they would motivate Jennifer to be as ambitious and advanced as her younger sister. Jennifer and Lexi are now adults. Jennifer moved out as soon as she financially could and has had no contact with Mark or Patricia since. Lexi fell into bad habits when she entered college and eventually dropped out of the university. She no longer plays violin, also flips off and curses at her parents. She essentially told Mark and Patricia, screw you. It's my life and I'm doing whatever the heck I want with it. Because Lexi is no longer fulfilling their expectations or doing things they can boast about, Mark and Patricia are now trying to get back into contact with Jennifer. But Jennifer wants nothing to do with them. Mark and Patricia were complaining because after using a 4th phone number to contact Jennifer, she had just blocked them previously. Jennifer called them out for only contacting her because Lexi was no longer available. Mark and Patricia tried to get sympathy by saying they have no idea why Jennifer has abandoned them. But I told Mark and Patricia it serves them right that Jennifer wants nothing to do with them. They always made her feel invalued compared to Lexi. Of course, Jennifer doesn't want to be their golden child now that Lexi has lost their favor. Most of the younger family members agree with what I said, excluding Jennifer. Because Mark and Patricia would have likely never contacted Jennifer if Lexi was still doing what they wanted. But most of the older family members said I was an a-hole because Mark and Patricia are realizing their mistake, and I'm just kicking them when they're already down. Even if Mark and Patricia were truly sorry for raising Jennifer as if she were less than Lexi, it doesn't excuse them from the consequences of doing it. But the older family members are saying it wasn't a time or place to say what I did. Am I the a-hole? Thank you for standing up for Jennifer. You have the right attitude, and it's not your fault they don't want to be confronted with her gross behavior. Too bad. So sad. Not the a-hole. Having someone stand up for you when your parents won't can make a huge difference for a kid. 100% this and not the a-hole. Where were the older family members when your cousin and wife were kicking Jennifer when she was down? I'm with Jennifer and you. You were wonderful to stand up for her when no one else would. To your cousin and wife, you reap what you sow. They are the a-holes. Not the a-hole. Pretty typical golden child scapegoat dynamic. I live this too, and I wish I'd had somebody like you speaking truth to my parents. You're not kicking them when they're down, because they're still saying garbage like this. Mark and Patricia tried to get sympathy by saying they have no idea why Jennifer has abandoned them. As long as they pretend to not understand and practice the missing reasons, somebody needs to tell them what's what. I'm glad Jennifer has you to do so on her behalf, since nobody else seems to care about her needs in all of this. Who abandoned who in this situation? The parents had abandoned any love or respect for Jennifer, long before she cut them out of her life. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Throw the entire family away, especially Mark and Patricia. That's being horrible parents that play favorites. Jennifer is 10,000% justified in cutting them off. And quite honestly, I hope she freaking crushes everything she pursues in life out of mere spite. It's ironic because Jennifer's talents, which Mark and Patricia called useless and a waste of time, are causing her to thrive right now. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mother trade my car in that I let her borrow? A year ago, I was in the market for a new car. I had done a project at work really well and received a large bonus. With it, I wanted to buy a car. I had my eye on an Infiniti, but it was a little out of my price range. However, with the trade-in and bonus, I could afford it. Around that same time, my mother-in-law was having car trouble and found out I was in the market for a new car. With typical begging, she asked me if she could have my car since I was going to buy a new one. Now, I don't have the best relationship with her. She has hated me since I got married, but we tolerate each other for my partner's sake. She is a narcissist and believes my partner and I should be nothing more than her personal ATM. So I was against it, but I let her borrow the car. The keyword is borrow. I gave her no title nor permanent rights to the car. Fast forward to a year later, maintenance is needed on the car. She always claims poverty when she wants something, and somehow expected my partner and I to foot the bill. When we said no, she wanted us to co-sign a loan for the maintenance, and once again, the answer was no. Fast forward a few weeks and we don't hear from her. The next thing we know, she pulls up in a new car. I had an eerie feeling, but proceeded to ask how she got it. She replied, I traded in my old car. What? You traded in the car I let you borrow and got a newer car than I got? Because I let you borrow my car I planned to trade in? I was livid, but I went numb. I could barely keep it together. When I asked her how she could do this, she said the car was hers and she could do what she wanted. Are you kidding me? I was beyond angry. A few days later, I got a call from the dealership asking me for the title. Apparently, my mother-in-law had lied and told them she had permission to trade a car in and could get the title. Cars can be traded in if there is no loan or lien on it, and since mine was paid, they let her trade it in. Now they are trying to sell the car and need a title for it. I refused. I wanted them to either compensate for the value or at least give me a percentage of its value. I didn't want to be unreasonable and take my mother-in-law's car away, but I wanted some kind of value on the $12,000 my car was still worth. They said they were unwilling to negotiate the $5,000 I wanted, and either I could give them the title or that my mother-in-law could return the car she got and pick up the one she traded in. She is beyond angry and thinks I'm being a jerk for not giving her my car. Am I the a-hole for not just rolling over and giving in? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I tell the dealer you are calling the police unless they return it to you. They 100% knew your name was on the title when they looked it up. There is no way they thought mother-in-law owned a vehicle and her name was on it. They should have contacted you for the trade because you are the owner. A simple search with a VIN number would show mother-in-law is not the owner. I would give them till the end of business day. I think the dealership royally screwed up here. They should have searched the title before doing the trade-in. They failed big time. 100% report the car stolen, report to the police where it is, and let the police go collect it. Dealership has zero proof that you allowed this trade-in. They never should have taken possession without the title in hand. They screwed up and they need to fix it. And the dealer also needs to deal with your mother-in-law. If I were you, I'd get my car back and go straight to CarMax and sell it immediately. End of story. Info. What does partner have to say about all of this? After all, it is their mother. My partner is beyond angry and has cut contact. They are even more upset than me because of the pattern of behavior over the years. Mother-in-law has always been a thief and justifies it by saying the people she takes from have more. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my son he doesn't need one of his nannies? My son has 7 kids. 15 female, 10 male, 8 male, 6 female, 5 female, 3 female, and 6 months male. My son and daughter-in-law have 3 nannies. Maria and Sarah works weekdays, while Louisa works weekends. My son works a lot, but my daughter-in-law works part-time and is usually home by 1. Some backstory. Maria and I did not get along at all. When I'd visit the kids, I'd bring the younger kids a present and take them to the park or zoo. She always picked a fight with me for not doing the same with his oldest, even though she's a teenager and doesn't need someone to bring her a Barbie and take her to the park. I've also not been able to see or talk to my grandkids since before my grandson was born because of a lie that Maria told to my son. My son's oldest daughter is very sick. She takes a lot of medicines, and I talked to her once about living a more natural lifestyle so she could eventually get off her meds. Maria told my son I tried to convince his oldest to stop taking her medicine. Son also has the option to work from home. He usually chooses to work from the office, but Maria needed 2 days off, so he stayed home with the oldest and the youngest. Maria works mornings and Sarah works afternoons. He and I were supposed to go out for lunch that day, so he called to cancel and explained why. At the end of the day, I asked him how his day with the kids was, and he said it was good, and it wasn't as hard as he thought. I asked why he has Maria if he could work from home and take care of his kids himself, but he got mad at me for trashing Maria. I've told him I think Maria is paid too much for very little work, and he knows she and I don't get along. But I'm not trashing her. I'm just saying he doesn't need her and can save a lot of money. Now he's saying he doesn't want to talk to me if I only want to criticize his family. They consider Maria family since she's been with them for 9 years. Am I the a-hole for telling my son he doesn't need Maria? So you tried to convince your sick granddaughter to take on some natural cure scam as opposed to actual evidence-based medicine. Maria told her father exactly what you actually did. You routinely play favorites among your grandkids and pick fights with someone who seems to be doing her job. Yeah, you're the a-hole. Agreed, you're the a-hole. I literally hate people who think medication is equal to unhealthy, and they have to get people off of medication as fast as possible. They praise a natural, healthy lifestyle, while forgetting that the medication is there to help sick people. Medication is liberation from sickness and helps people live. Agreed. I had a relative attempt to convince my mother to stop taking her MS medication because she doesn't like daily shots. I mean, who does? She instead suggested some sort of berry gummy and essential oils for MS. I do agree that if someone is taking a lot of meds to consult with a doctor and see if anything has changed, and perhaps lessening or changing the plan, as sometimes things are prescribed to cover side effects of others. We did this for my grandmother who went from 7 to 2 pills a day, because there was an alternative to one of her meds which knocked out 5 others. You're the a-hole. First of all, mind your own business. Also, you really expect someone to work from home and take care of 7 kids? You must be daft. Exactly. If he worked from home, he wouldn't get any work done. And he would likely no longer be employed.